Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Welcome to another day of triathlon training, and welcome to a day where I'm absolutely scraping the barrel for content, completely run out of ideas, so I'm here talking to you about trainers. Now, I thought today was a good time to talk about it because I have bought some new trainers to training and trainers to racing. Can I say trainers many more times? So whilst they're not smelly, dirty and minging, I can put them near my face and not feel too disturbed. I think first of all, let's have a quick look at what I have been training and racing in the past. So this has been my trainer of choice for the last couple of years now. It's a Brooks Adrenaline GTS 19. I've got two pairs of these. I wouldn't want to say what sort of mileage they've got on them. I have ran 1,200 and something miles in 2020, and I used these in 2019 as well, so who really knows? All I do know is they are really, really ready for the bin now. However, they've been absolutely spot on. But before these, I used a different brand and I had numerous calf issues and niggles. Went to a running shop, had my gait analysed, my current trainers analysed. They told me my shoes were too small and they also weren't quite the right level of support for me. So it doesn't mean that previous brand wasn't as good as these or these are better. They just fit better and are a good trainer. So I went up to a size 13, which is a bit of a boat shoe, and got these. Yeah, I got a couple of pairs of them. So they've been absolutely fine. There's no special tech in them and they're not particularly lightweight. There's no carbon plate, any of that. They are just bog standard running trainers, but they've been absolutely fine for me. So I've raced in these 10Ks, half Ironmans, and so on, with no success, granted, but they've got me around okay. So let's have a look now at what they're being replaced by. Now, I'm a big fan of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this year's training trainer is going to be the Brooks Adrenaline GTS 20, which is the model after the one I had. The model is exactly the same, the trainer is the same. It's a slightly lighter blue, and if you follow this channel regularly, you'll know that I do like the colour blue, so that was absolutely fine. The GTS 21s are out now, however, these were significantly cheaper, so none of these products are sponsored or endorsed or paid for by or gifted or whatever hashtags people use on Instagram nowadays. These are all paid for by myself because I needed some trainers and nobody gave me any. So there you go. So these are a UK 13. They are mild support. Again, they're just a training shoe. They're not really particularly lightweight or aimed at racing really. However, that doesn't mean that you can't do that in them. Quite a lot of people will do. And that is it. That's what I'm going to be training in this year. Can't wait to ruin that new shoe smell. I don't know the stats on the heel to toe, offset, drop and all the other stuff. However, I think that they're just training shoes that are probably going to be okay for me because I know I've been running in the same ones for ages. So therefore, I don't really need to look into that too much. Anyway, let's get on to the more exciting ones, shall we? But before that, let's talk about cost. I just briefly mentioned these aren't the current models, these are the 20s. Now, I always buy the previous model whenever I'm buying shoes online. If I go to a running shop and have my gait analysed, I'll buy the trainers from there because I feel like I want to support the shop that supported me and obviously fitting you the right shoe. But following that, when you're just buying shoes online, why would I pay more money to have the current colour? It just doesn't make sense. So these were, and you can just Google or search wherever for the model you want. The previous year's model, and these were £85, I believe, or £80 or £85, and the current model is 125, so that's 40 quid difference, which is quite a lot of money when you're buying a couple. I bought two pairs. It soon adds up, doesn't it? Now, I did actually buy these from Brooks Direct, though. They had done a reduction on their website, so it is worthwhile checking out the manufacturer. Other websites include sportshoesdirect.co.uk, I think I've used, and I'm sure there are many, many others. But if you know what make and model you want, have a search online, try and find a previous season's colour, and you can get yourself a little bargain. So let's get on to the more exciting ones, and we'll start with cost because we just finished with cost. So there I had two pairs of Brooks training trainers for £160-ish or £170. And then the racing shoe. Now, I've never used a carbon plated shoe, a lightweight racing shoe or anything like that really. However, when I'm trying to clutch at straws to get every single little marginal gain I can and I'm getting desperate, I needed to break that emergency glass and get in there. So I went for the Hoka One Carbon X SPE. Now, I also mentioned with the Brooks that I bought the previous season's model because it saved a bit of money. I didn't quite be as smart with this because these are now the previous season's model. They have brought a new one out, but I bought these before they brought the new one out, so messed up there. But what can you do? These were £170, so they're not cheap by any means. And if you were to compare them to the Brooks training shoes, where I might get 1,000 miles out of the pair of them, these are rated for 100 miles, which is not a massive amount of time to be running for, is it? So it'll probably last me the whole season racing at least, but I probably couldn't do much training in this at all. So why are they so much money? Why are they supposed to be so fast? Well, firstly, they're lightweight. I've not got the stats. I don't know how heavy they are, but you can see the top half is just like mesh. You can basically see through it, and I can physically feel they are lighter. They have a carbon plate in the sole. You can see there at the bottom there's a little bit of carbon showing through. There's a lot of technology in the foam, and that it's supposed to give you quite a lot of proportion. Now, a lot of people will, particularly some of the people I used to run with, this sort of thing is cheating, apparently. Now, the way I've had it explained to me is when you run, and let's say you're running in a normal trainer, say, for example, you'll lose 20% of your energy through the trainer. Now, these aren't creating any energy. They're only not transforming what you've got. All you're doing is losing less of that power in the foot strike and in how you're running. So therefore, you're not cheating because they're not creating anything. And I think when you're racing against everybody else who's got all these anyway, you're on the level playing field, aren't you? Anyway, they are in orange and white and blue. They did do a colour that was tofu and something, because these are fully vegan. But I resisted that. They didn't look very nice at all. These do look quite smart. Really looking forward to giving them a go. I will potentially try and break them in with a 5K effort in a few weeks. Who knows? I went for these over the Nike Alpha Flies and other models because, well, the Nike Alpha Flies are a good, they're £240, so a fair bit more expensive than these, about £70 more expensive. You can't get hold of any Nike Alpha Flies. I've looked for a while and can't get hold of any. I like that Hoka are involved in the triathlon world and they sponsor triathletes, so I sort of think, well, I'd like to support a brand that does that sort of thing. And the way I read it was, they are better if you're not as good at running as other brands are. So they have their Carbon X, which is like the fast, like 10K race shoe. And I see people like Joe Skipper race an Ironman in them, but Joe Skipper's Ironman race pace is like 6-minute miling. My Ironman race pace will be, 8 to 9 minute miling. So I'm not really bouncing on my forefoot running like I think I'm, Kipchoge. I'm probably doing what just looks like a jog. So therefore, I will be heel striking. I will just be running a normal gait. So that the shoe that fits that, as much as I'd love to go and get a shoe that is like, for running 30-minute 10Ks, I'm just not that person. So this was the item that fitted the bill best for me. And I really, really can't wait to give these a go and let you guys know how they are. So if you use carbon plated trainers or fancy foam trainers and you've gone from you just using normal trainers, let me know down below. Do you rate them? Do you slate them? I've only walked around the house in these, so I haven't got any comment to pass on them yet. But I'm actually quite excited to see how they feel. Liz also has a pair of these as well now, so look forward to seeing how she gets on as well, because she doesn't run as fast as I do. So it'll be interesting to see what difference she feels at a steadier pace point. That said, she's training well, so she's nipping at my heels. But so that's it. They're the trainers I'm training and racing in this year. Let me know down below what your thoughts are, if you use any of the same equipment as me or not. I suppose I better go and do some running now, hadn't I? Yeah. Okay, so tonight's run session isn't that tough, to be honest. It's a steady base high. So it's basically nearly an hour of steady running, 4:46 or 4:45 per kilometre pace, which I don't know what that is per mile, but that's not super fast for the pace I'm aiming for. I have also lubricated the treadmill, so it stopped beeping at me. Whether it'll start again at some point, I don't know. Now, you should use silicone grease on treadmill belts, yes. However, I don't have any. I have ordered some on eBay, it's not come. The beeping is absolutely doing my head in. I ruffled through the cupboards and the best thing I could find was some Ceratec Mintex brake pad grease. I know that shouldn't probably go in on a treadmill belt, however, it's better than nothing, so put it on. It seems to be going squelching a little bit, but well, whatever. I bought this treadmill second-hand a few years ago, so it's not like the #1 priority in my life, but hopefully that doesn't ruin it, but we'll find out. Anyway, it's time for me to turn the camera off, take my top off and get running. There we go then, done and dusted. 7.69 miles, 7 minutes 49 per mile. Average heart rate 129 beats a minute, so solid zone 2 run. Really enjoyed that actually. Running's not bad when it's not going bad, isn't it? Obviously wearing the Send It headband. If you haven't already sent me a photo, if you've got one of these, please do, because I've got a little stash of hilarious photos. Email me, Instagram DM me, whatever. I'm going to create a little collage, looking forward to that. Anyway, that's it for today's training. It wasn't, even though I've ran for an hour, it's still an easier day's training than yet, well, a lot easier than yesterday. I'm alternating it at the minute, having a hard day than having an easy day. I think that's a lot more sustainable for me to train week on week rather than doing 2 or 3 hard days thinking I'm Jan Frodeno and then having like 3 or 4 days off. That isn't quite the best way to train, so that is it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope your training's going well as well. Now the weather's turned bad again, but I hope you're all right. Subscribe if you haven't already. I forgot what I was going to say then. I'll see you tomorrow at 4 PM. I've done this 50 million times. I think I'll get the hang of it by now. See you later.